What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 3 favorite releases from 2024. This is a video that I started making last year that a lot of people seem to enjoy, so we are running it back here for 2024 as we enter into 2025. And the first disc of my top 3 is the Alpha Disc Fjord. I think if you've watched many of my videos, you probably saw this coming. The overstable approach slot is something that I have always seemed to struggle to fall in love with. I bagged the Ruin for a while when Infinite came out with that. Obviously, weird hand feel, not the most popular disc by all Infinite throwers by any means. Bagged the Rays for a while when it came out, and I did really enjoy the Rays. I think I have 4 or 5 of them up there. There was one throw in particular into a headwind where that thing either just stayed straight on a forehand or maybe even flipped over. It was like the end of my love affair with the Rays for whatever reason. It only took one throw, one bad one, it was out of my bag forever. Then Alpha sent me over 2 of their Fjords when these came out, and this, for whatever reason, I think it's because it's a little bit more overstable than your typical Zone clone. I always say that this is right in between a Zone and a Zone OS, where I can throw a tomb and get it to hyzer a lot of the time and act more Zone-esque, but a tomb can never act like this disc. This has a lot more bite, it's a lot meaner, and a big plus for this is their chrome line plastic. I always say this is some of my just absolute favorite plastic. This feels incredible, has a little bit of puddle top on the top of it, so these feel great for a forehand. This is the second one I've gone through. I've actually already lost one of these, and you can see just on the rim of this thing, I throw this a ton. This was integral in my round where I actually beat my challenge and shot 1,000 rated. If you haven't watched that series, I threw this thing just a ton. Forehands, primarily flex forehands. This also has that kind of Zone OS quality where the harder you throw it, it seems like the more overstable it gets. So you can really hammer on this on some angle on forehand and know that it's going to fight out, produce a skip for you, have some good ground play, but also feels good on a backhand as well. Attribute that a lot to the plastic, but I cannot say enough good things about the Alpha Disc Fjord. I don't know how available these have been in the US. I feel like I'm the only one that ever talks about this disc, but especially supporting a great guy in James Proctor and just getting an absolute sick disc is one hell of a deal, if you ask me. Next up, we've got the Birdie Disc Golf Supply Rise, and it's stamped premium. I've also heard this called Infinity Plastic. I'm not super sure, but this is their Champ style blend plastic. This is a pretty unique mid-range in that if you look at the profile of this disc, the hand feel, I would guess that this is an MD3 Buzz style, very neutral mid-range. It's going to go straight, be your line holder, and it's not really that, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about it. It's got a little bit more stability than that. That seems hard to get out of a beadless mid-range, and I think that's one thing Birdie does best with both this disc and the Ultra, the kind of more overstable big brother to this, is they're both beadless mid-ranges but still have a good amount of stability to it. This, you can see if you really look at this disc, I was obsessed with this disc when it came out. I threw this a ton. This is pretty beat up by my standards, and it got straighter, but it's pushing and has that glidey, pushy fade that again is really hard to achieve, kind of that rock style flight without the bead on it. So if you like a shallower mid, if you like a beadless mid, this plastic feels incredible, and this achieves a flight that I think is pretty hard to produce, again, with a mid that does not have a bead on it. Finally, number 3, and probably my most thrown new disc this last year. I hate to do it and give the guy props, but it is the completely Corey Finish Line Torque. This is, for most people, what a Firebird should be when people bag that type of disc. So I actually took out my Scepters, my super overstable beefy disc, for this disc, and it's not quite that overstable. It's not something that you can rip and chop over on. It will hold and glide on an anhyzer for a while, but this is so usable on both forehand and backhand that if you're someone like me that has that Scepter, that Firebird style disc, you only find yourself using it a few times around, grab a Torque, beat one in, and I'm guaranteeing you will find more use cases for it. This won't hyzer flip. If I put this on hyzer or throw it flat, it's gonna dump. It's gonna be overstable. It has good stability and reliability in the wind, but at the same time, it's just a tick more usable than those super overstable 9 speeds are. This composite plastic that Finish Line has been running, their newer composite plastic, feels absolutely incredible. Has a decent stamp on it. I can probably line it up with my own glasses. You know, Corey does incredible graphics work. All jokes aside, I give him shit. He's done all the graphics for my channel. So shout out to you, Corey. But you've got an incredible disc here. I genuinely think this is one a lot of people should try. I think a lot of people latch on that super overstable 9-speed because all their favorite pros throw it. This will fly more like that disc flies for them, for you, because you and I do not throw that far with that much spin. We can accept that. We can accept that we're different people and disc down a little bit. It's okay, I promise. But that wraps it up for me. These were my 3 favorites, other than the Rise, which isn't in my bag right now, just because I have, for whatever reason, found myself preferring a bead at the end of the year. I've been throwing the Raw. These 2, again, you can look at these discs. These have been in my bag, and I mean absolutely beat to shit. Like, this Fjord has taken some damage this year. Still just as overstable. This chrome line is not beating it as well as I think most like star blends, but I love it. Still very mean, very overstable. Let me know in the comments below, what were your 3 favorite discs from last year, or what is a disc that surprised you, has become a staple? What's your #1 staple disc in your bag? I'm really curious to know. If it's not any of these, which I doubt it's the Fjord, and basically all these I think are super slept on, but just let me know what yours is in the comments below. And if you think that these are stupid or if I should be bagging something else, also let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to buy any of these from infinitedisc.com or Foundation if they have them, or anywhere else, I've got a lot of links in my description that help support me. So if you enjoy my content, want to keep feeding me new discs to put on this rack and to try and show you guys how they fly and just fucking yap about forever, I love to do it. I have been talking for a long ass time. We're going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys back out on the course soon, but I did want to just yap about some of my absolute favorite discs for a little bit. Thank you. You're beautiful.